Hi, this is Double, and today we'll be doing this special video. And you're seeing the title. It's going to be a Chapter 23 apps tier list. We're going to tire. I guess it should be Chapter 23 map tier list and not 23 maps tier list, but whatever. You understand, right? So yeah, we're going to tire all Chapter 23 maps. And this is going to be the special video of my second year on YouTube. So I hope you like it. You are most likely going to enjoy this video more than the maps we're going to talk about. So you're seeing down there, this is on Tire Maker. We're going to use Tire Maker, and the images have been obtained from other templates from Tire Maker. Some of them tell me that I have to give credit to the wiki page and the Serena's Forest page. So I may just link the main pages of those websites as well. I don't feel like checking every single place of the images. You may just find themselves out in case you wanted to. Not like you need to, because again, if you want the images, you can download them the same way as I did with Tire Maker. And also, I guess I could download the small portraits or portraits from units this way, which I didn't find a way to get them from many games. So at least this will provide me from the images in case I want to do Ironmans in the future. And we'll see about that. Let's begin. So we are going in order. You see more or less what the tire is being made. We're going to discuss the games in order. FE1 is the first one. So FE1, sorry, that's not what I meant. Okay, that works. FE1. What I meant to do is this. There's my phone. This is FE1 map. This is the map where you face unbeat Garnet if you want Falchion. It's not that bad to get Falchion here, unlike in Cellground. We'll talk about Cellground when we get there. So all the Garnets are on top. Unlike on Cellground, there will be another one here, but not all of them are on top. And if you check their inventory and data, you will identify the two Garnet already. So they didn't implement that very well. You could just do that and know the real Garnet. This game, all magic tomes are 1-2 range, so there is no seed tomes, unlike in Cellground, so you can play this map as like regular way. Just go here with the map, with the enemies, and be fine. It's viable, there is nothing wrong with that. You could just play the maps and be fine. But still, this is the third last map in the game, so you may as well skip it if you have the tools, because this is a game where warp is infinite range and fairly easy to use. So you don't really need to do all this map. Also, these treasures are quite pointless. There is no enemies around here, so they're free, but at the same time you don't need them. So I wouldn't consider this map good, because it's just an skip most of the time. So we are going to tire this map. I believe I'm going to tire this map on mid. It might go down to bot. It probably will go down to bot. I don't remember exactly the tiring, because I think this is my second time recording it. I don't have enough space for a mistake of mine. But yeah, this should be on mid, and if not, it will go bad. We'll see when we get more games. So what is the next one? The next one is FE5. So here's the deal. I haven't played 5. I have not played FE12 when we get there. So I'm going to tire them based on the WoD page, which for that one I will link the chapter page. And you could tell me how you feel about this map and how you feel about me tiring it. So this map is not great, it's not bad, it's there. Their boss is here. I don't remember if this is a siege or not. What I do have know is there are siege storms somewhere, there are ballistas here, wyverns here I think, and there are pseudo random reinforcements from some places. And you begin here with another unit there. It's okay, it's also one of the latest maps in the game, so you may have many tools to approach the map, and the strategy that was playing there make me feel that this map is easy to deal with and doesn't really require war skipping. So for that reason, I'm just going to let this map be tired on mid on top of this one. In fact, I think because of me tiring before, I think this map was tired bad, which makes sense because, you know, if you can war skip it, and if it is preferable to war skip the map, then it's not good. Then it's bad. We'll go with the next one. See if that way I can record this within less than an hour, all these maps. We have now FP6. Thankfully I did play FP6 now. So this is a map for tool ending. Maybe you have seen it, maybe you have not. That doesn't really matter. The boss is around here with another group of enemies. There are ballistas here, and a lot of wyverns, subs. There are berserkers and seeds. There is a berserker staff at least, and seed storms. Maybe there's an sleep or silence staff somewhere. The thing is, I found this map more tolerable because this sub right here will give you access to restore. So as long as you have a healer that can use it, you could have a way to deal with that. You won't have a way to deal with ballistas really, because there are also wyverns around here, so sending a flyer to get rid of them is not viable. Maybe you could have a seed storm. I don't remember having seed storms too much. I think you can only have one seed storm throughout the game. Maybe you can have another one, and I do not remember that being the case. The thing is, there is still also a killer ballista, so you better get rid of them somehow, or there's the crit. Because I also don't recall having the iron rune, or the one that negates crits. Maybe there is, but yeah, you will also need to have that on a specific unit and tank that. You know, with high defense might tank that thing though. And well, this map could maybe be war skip, but it's a little harder and not really necessary. It's way better on other maps. So for me, this map should go on mid. Is it better or is it worse than FP5? I said this is better. I mean, I know this one has their restores to help, and this one maybe has status saves, and there is no restore available for the map on the map itself, so you need to be prepared for that. Okay, who's next? So next we have FP7. Again, I guess I did not explain that until now, because it doesn't matter until now, because it only matters for FP7. We are tiring those maps based on the highest difficulty possible. Usually, highest difficulty possible. And because of that, we had to fire FE7 based on Nectar hard mode. And Nectar mode, you have as Chapter 23 this map. On Ellwood, you have a different one. So we had to tire this map on Chapter 20 because it is Chapter 23 for Nectar hard. I believe this is close as of time. I don't mind the names. I maybe should have remembered, considering every chapter is a Chapter 23. But yeah, this is Chapter 23. And on Nectar hard mode, this is a focus war map on top of being a desert map with a killer axe boss. And we have Ben who could in theory die turn 1 or turn 2. I don't remember seeing it, but I've been told it can't happen. So that is already what? 4 factors that are bad feeling. Like you have a green unit that can die and you can do anything to avoid that. You have a focus war map, you have a desert map, you have the hidden items related to a desert map. We'll consider those as 2 things. And also it's not even easily approachable because most enemies are wyverns or mages. Mages deal a lot against your wyvern, who is hit and you just got him, so there is no way you have trained him. And then the wyverns are quite strong against fine, so that's also not really too viable. They won't be viable as combat units too much. So it's not even easily approachable anyway. And there is one more factor I still haven't talked about, which is the fact that there is a fire lock after this, and the requirement condition needs you to get 700 experience with your units. If you let Pen do most of the things because he's strong for that, you'll end up probably having to rescue him and then use your dancer to refresh your units until you grind enough experience with him for unlocking the fire lock. That is also really bad because it slows you down. It serves no purpose but the fire lock, unlocking the fire lock, so you wouldn't want that generally. So yeah, this map is one of the worst ones on FE7, one of the worst ones in general. And for that one, it deserves to be here. Let's move to the next one, which, if you have seen, is still FE7. Because as mentioned, there is a parallel. And after Chapter 23, you end up having, Chapter 23X, because you said Chapter 23. I still had to, consider. Also, I didn't want anyone complain about not having it. So we have this map, which is called Genesis. This is also one of the maps of all time. So, let me pointer. He's on a scare, he can move on Nectar hard mode. He's a magic seal, he won't let you use magic for all the time he's in here, for most of the files. There are siege stones, there are an sleep staff, there is an berserker staff, there are treasure chests though, but you probably want only one thief because of deployment slot limitations. So you end up having to go here and then go all this way to here and then go all this way to here, which is not great at all. You'll take way more time to do that. There are also reinforcements, which is kind of whatever. But there are also specific reinforcements after Kitsuna leaves, and it varies depending on you attacking him or you opening this door. If you attack him or let him leave, it'll be one type. If you open this door, it'll be another one. The thing is, for Hector Harmon, he'll leave turn 4 or so. Unlike other difficulties. and you need to go all this way, break all those things, open these two doors, beat enemies that are around here to reach here and open this door, in case you want to get that. Within 4 turns, I don't think that's possible. If you know someone, a video that knows how to do it, link that to me, because I would love to see that. But for now, for me, this means that that choice is not even possible, and you just made the map in such a way that something is not possible, and you still allow that. And that is wrong in my opinion, and that makes this map even worse. It's not even enjoyable. And there's still another thing that makes this map even worse, which is that there are Lunatoids, I think they're mainly around here, with 20 magic or so. They will with a crit one-shot any unit you have. And there is no way to avoid that, because Iron Rune is obtainable way later in the game. And the item the enemy is what happened. So yep, this is going with the other FE7 map. I would say though that this map it's a little better, a little more enjoyable because of the experience you're getting from all those prepper modes. But yeah, that's not great. There's also the condition for unlocking the Paralog Lloyd Linus gates and such, which makes this map for worse or better depending on how you want to consider that. Let's go with the next one. So next one we have FE9, because there is no chapter 23 for FE8. And this is the map we have got. So in case this was not enough, now we had to talk about Mecha Streets, or whoever this map is called. Honestly, I just don't remember. I usually remember the maps based on the host names. Yeah, you begin here, against there, you have to beat her, and then sees. There are traps within the bridge, not before, not after. There are seed stones and there are ballistas. One of the seed stones is droppable. I don't find the seed stones for this map being that bad, because the previous map with the Spalmeni Tower, the one you fight the brigand enemy that has a killer axe with all those sprees, I tend to, seed stone and beat him, use seed stones and beat him, and for this map you get Hammer. And there is one of those systems for this map that's droppable, so it's quite clear and easy to see that you should still use your seed stones, hammer them in case they have been used quite a lot, and use them to beat that other seed stone that's droppable, and that way you'll get that. Meaning that the only issue would be the ballista enemies that are a little too far away to deal with the seed storms, or maybe they're not, but I haven't done it ever. And the traps, obviously the traps. The traps are always annoying. They're not that painful because they only let you. They're like a hex trap for meter race, except you don't get to dance the unit that was stopped by that. And there is no HP condition, you cannot disarm that. So it's quite fine. Well, technically they do not affect flyers. It's quite fine. It's not the end of the world, you barely ever die from falling into one. But that's kind of the reason why they're annoying, because it feels like you're only wasting your time falling into them. There is a way around it, which is that because you usually let enemies attack you, they will move first. They know where the traps are, so you could avoid them by just making your units go on the same tiles the enemies have gone before, and that way you will not fall into any. Which makes that a little more tolerable. It's not perfect, it's not a perfect solution, but it is a thing you can do. So I would not call this map terrible, but like, I mean, at least you play it and there is no ambush spawns. That's not the one I wanted to hide, but whatever. That's not the one I wanted to hide either. Where is the P9? So for this map, it's bad. No one's denying that. It should probably be here or here or here. I think I'd rather have him here because even though F1's map might be better, in case you don't war skip it, this one doesn't have ambush spawns, but you don't war skip this map, you still play it too. So at least that has that game. So let's leave it there. Maybe we'll say it install later. So now what do we have? We have to tire FP11. That is Saddlewagon. So Saddlewagon, again, as mentioned with FP1, it's similar. This is the place you have to seize, piece up, you can warp from one to begin, warp mark and then seize, and you lose the Partition if you don't beat Garnet. Those treasures I think they're as pointless as on FP1. Maybe not that much because 14 is a thing here and that makes you use more money if you're going for that. And there is a fake Garnet here instead of having all of them around here. The fake Garnets do work here, which is, I guess, a good thing. Like, you don't know which one is until you find out, until you find them and test out. But the thing is, Marth is quite useless against the boss with this game. Again, we're talking about the highest difficulties. So getting Falchion is less necessary, which means that that gimmick is less important because war skipping is a more desirable choice. And that makes this map worse than the FP1 version, which already lets me tire this. Worse than FP1. Again, that's not the one I need to fire. This. So yeah, we're going with that reasoning, and this map will be worse than FP1. So now we had to tire FP12. So this is FP12. This is the second game, the second and only game that I'm tiring them up that I have not played. So you can tell me in the comments how this map plays out, how do you feel about my tiring and such. Again, I have checked the WoD page to see more or less how this map plays out and such. And I don't think it's good, because this is Garnet again, and we just need to seize. We can bait him into moving just so we don't need to beat him, because again, he's immune unless you have Starlight and you need to beat him with Starlight or refuse the Falchion. I think the Falchion is more important here because the final boss is not weak against Divine Dragons. So maybe there's some small reason to beat that one instead of Shadow Dragon, but it's still quite bad because there are also treasure chests here, and I don't really like that because you had to warp someone to get those at least, and then rescue them with rescue stuff, because rescue stuff is a thing on FP12 it seems, and use and stuff that lets you open chests or warp and thief and rescue the thief too, which technically means 2 warps and 2 rescues, while the other one is 1 warp, 1 rescue and 1 steal. I don't like that at all. Like you're wasting 3 things and to get one of those things. One is the Ohm stuff, which is reviving. When I'm playing, I'm usually doing no deaths, and that means I cannot revive anyone because no one is dead. The other one is Hammer. Hammer is nice, but again, this is later in the game, so it's hard for me to tell whether you would need the hammer or not, and if it is worth using the tools I explained. I mean, you technically don't need a rescue if you do it right before season this map, and world skipping seems to be harder, especially on the highest difficulties. You may not be able to go around Garnet, so you might actually need to waste a turn or so. So yeah, this map is bad. Let me hide it and we'll tire it. I don't know how I'll tire it, because as mentioned, this map should be less desirable to world skip it. I guess it deserves to be better than Shadow Dragon. It probably does not deserve to be better than FE1, because I think one thing I forgot to mention from FE1 and Shadow Dragon is that Shadow Dragon has systems unlike FE1, so you had to face systems if you don't want to world skip it, and that's more painful. New Mystery also has systems on that boss area, which is quite annoying to deal with. But still, because Falchion might be more desirable, maybe FE12 is still better than FE11. Okay, let's move on. Now we have Awakening. And we have this map. Great. Isn't that great? This is Baldar, fake Baldar in a sense. And then we have 2 Baldar here. This is a route map. You have to beat all this map, all these enemies. There is not really avoiding tiles. The better ones are these, and this just 10 avoid, I think. Because we're considering highest difficulties, let's just assume Lunatic and Lunatic Plus. That's what my talents are all about. Enemies will have at least hit plus 10 on Lunatic and Lunatic Plus, so that 10 avoid is negated. It gets negated by that, essentially. And they will have forged weapons, maybe at this point even over forged weapons. I consider an over forged weapon one weapon that is forged over the amount of things you could forge, which they are. And yeah, you essentially had to pick your 2 best units, pair them up, and get rid of everything. You could maybe have more than 1 carry, but yeah, that's the thing. You just pray enemy face skip with the start button. I think it's the one you use for skipping, and pray that you don't die. You don't really need to pray. You could maybe bait not that many enemies somehow, but the thing is, this map encourages you not to deploy units, and that is a wrong design, because why would you give me the deployment slots if it is better not to deploy them? Like, if it is really, really better not to deploy them by far. And yep, that is not good. Also, these 2 units are quite far away from Polar. So unless you have given boots or reclass them into higher movement classes, you're not reaching him turn 1. So you still need to find a way for all these units, in case you do full deployment, to leave turn 1. Which might be possible, but I think those enemies are still close enough for you to not have enough tiles to be safe with all the units, even if you pair them up. So yeah, if you're doing full deployment and you don't have good units staying besides Chrome and Robin, you're kinda screwed, because some of those units will die. So yeah, this map is Force, and that is only on Lunatic. On Lunatic Plus, enemies could have okay, so enemies will not miss, and even on Lunatic, it's hard for them to miss. They must still have like 40 hit against your best unit. So you probably need some sort of healing, like Nosferatu or Salt, Lead, all that. And yeah, for that reason, this mob is going here. Even worse than these ones, because those ones are easy to deal with. You could probably use any unit, any group of units, unless you want to deploy only mages here, but even then you would still have Electron. Okay. So yeah, there are other ways around it. This is just not. You have to have that, or you have to have a broken unit, or right. Let's go with the next map. And yeah, as if FE7 was not enough, Awakening happens to be the same. Like we also have a paralog that's considered Chapter 23X. This is an spot pass paralog, so maybe there are many more players who haven't done it, because these paralogs are only available after all maps except from this final map. So you don't really do them most of the time. You could technically get a unit that could support your avatar, but because the way they're available, you're almost not going to ever support those units, because you need to do skill misses to get the support units. That is another thing I did not consider about before. Also, look at the amount of deployment slots you're getting. There is no way you train that many units. So if you're going full deployment, you literally will have units that are just backups, and even after that, we're still talking about maybe 15 units that needs to around 15 units that needs to be trained. I doubt you still have trained that many units on Awakening on the highest difficulty. Also, on hard mode, all enemies have the same stats as Lunatic. That is like the worst thing you could see, and I don't think that's a good idea to train people that have played hard mode for playing Lunatic, because these are endgame stats. These are endgame stats, and not even from main story. So that's not going to train people from hard to Lunatic early game. I don't think so. This map though has some redeeming qualities. Like, this is fire only, this is essentially fire only, this is air, water, and there are some walls around. The enemies can hit through walls in this game, so they don't help that much. But this helps because units with Air Force could maybe beat an enemy and then fall back to safety. That is one thing you probably could not do or not do every turn on that other map, making this map a little more tolerable. But then again, enemies have stats. They're most likely going to be better even than their stronger unit. Only pair up will make you stronger, well, that and rallies and tonics. So yeah, and the strategy is more or less the same. Just have a really strong unit that could tank many units, which for highest difficulties you essentially need to have some sort of healing skill, Nosferatu or Soul, because if not, you're not really living. You might, if you have breaker skills for even more avoid against specific enemies, but even then, not every enemy will have that kind of weapon, and on Lunatic class they could have okay, counter, Luna plus. So yeah man, this goes on the same tire. this will go here, but again, as explained, this one is a little better than the other one because of the other strategies of hit and run, which will be really slow, but there still are here. So this map is better, even if it isn't for math, and that will be there. Let's go with the next one. So now we had to do dates. We'll do birthright first. So for birthright, I believe this is Camila and this is Elena and Veruca pair up. So I have not played Fates from all the time I have my channel, which means that I have not played Fates for over 2 years. That is not helping me tired. That it would also be appreciated if you could leave a comment telling me how right I am or not. What I seem to remember is Camila having infinite dragon veins that could damage all enemies around this place or this place or this place. It will not kill, but it can easily chip my units down. Most of my units, I mean not the backup units, not the ones that aren't there, but it could chip my units down to 1 HP and then I will need to heal my units. Like every time use a healer for fixing that, which it's quite annoying. Also, if it is not infinite, if it is like turn-based and at some point she stops, which she might, because it could happen, I haven't said, I don't remember, it would just forces you into waiting on these spots or these spots until she stops doing that, and that will be boring, really boring. Like I don't like this map right now. I don't see how this map could be good. I only seen myself just waiting until she stops doing that, or having to heal a lot of my units to then do something every turn, and just waiting here and use Ryoma most likely to get rid of most enemies. And there's probably other units that could do a good enough job, but yeah, that's kinda how it is. So I wouldn't call this map great. It's not the worst of the worst. I will try it. This one? No, that is not the one. That's why I have them in different order. This one's hot. Yeah, this one's bad. This is okay. It might be okay. Yeah, this one it goes there. So what is the next one? I guess the next one is Revelations. We're going to talk Revelations 4 because I'm quite tired of bad maps. And this one seems to be the best map out of everyone, which it's I don't have to say, but it is what it is. So this is the last map you face Arete, if I'm not mistaken. This is Arete, these are your units, and the gimmick of this map is that those tiles that are a little darker are platforms that are moving. This one goes up here if I remember, this one goes here, and this one goes this way, and this one goes this way, and this one goes this way. So you could just go here, take this path, move around here and face the boss, and you would ignore this bar, but this bar has treasure chest. I don't remember what's in there because again I have not played this game for over 2 years. The WoD page doesn't have guides on those maps yet, so I will have to check a different page for that. Then again, usually the items that are on treasure chests are S-rank weapons, which aren't that great for this game, or stat boosters, which they're probably not necessary. So yeah, it's still worth going for there. It's still worth going there. It's not bad. You could maybe split your army for doing that. I guess one thing I should mention that it's not great for this map, but that feels like the only thing that's not really good is the fact that those tiles that are moving, those platforms that are moving, are for only 4 tiles, and you have 12 deployment slots, which per up is 6 tiles, which means that you had to wait if you want to carry all infantry units. So you kind of want to have at least 2 flyers, which is not great. I mean, most of the maps from Revelations, once you get to that country, you are flyer favor. I guess you can have Incinite and then Mylar, but yeah, the thing is, it's not great if you really enforce the use of specific classes, especially if that's on every single map. Then again, that is not the worst. And unlike on Birthright, there are many more units available on Revelations and many more paralogs to unlock. So you might still be unlocking paralogs and building supports, which is a nice extra challenge to deploy specific units and such. So I could consider this map being better, like quite better. Like, I honestly think this is the best map we've gotten so far. Just because it could be fun to train specific units. It could still be fun. The only thing that's not great is just, you know, carrying your units from one place to another. But at least half of them goes one way or another, and if you go for the chase with some specific units, you can send all the other units to that other spot. So yeah, I would put this one here actually, and it's not the greatest, but who knows, maybe I can have fun, maybe it's possible. I mean, maybe you could argue that I could have fun on FE6 map, but like, again, that's the map previous to the final one essentially, so most of my units will have the power, and it will just be fun in the sense of, oh, look at my overpowered units doing everything. That is not as fun as it seems. Let's start the last Fates map, because thankfully Fates, even though on Revelation there are many more units, there are still not enough paralogs to get that chapter 23 X, thankfully. So now we had the entire Conquest map. I really dislike this map. Every time I have played this map, I haven't found a proper way to approach this side. I don't think there's really a way, because most of those enemies have launch, even though they're not the class to have that. And that would make me fade like everyone, because some of them have a 2-range weapon, so it's not like I could use a good melee weapon to one round them and not kill launch. They will just attack me from range to tip that, and there are barely any good units on Conquest that have 1-2 range that could do combat properly. So yeah, this part sucks. I remember something like doing rescue or entrap to make it easier, and using limited resources on a specific map for approaching it. It's not great. Also, I tend to ignore this side because this map takes quite a while. This part is hard, so dealing with all this part, which is also not easy, makes me rage more if I had to then lose here. And if I had to ignore, and if I can ignore with a flyer, just rescue dropping here essentially. There is no rescue. Perhaps works like that in a sense for what I'm doing. I just send my units here and ignore this part. Ignoring a part of the map, that means you haven't done a proper deal. Because if it is better not to do something, that feels like you have done something slightly wrong. And I say slightly because if enemies were slightly weaker, maybe it would be more tolerable. Or if this map wasn't that long. Also, as if that wasn't enough, boss has a ballista here that would attack. This is another ballista, this is another ballista, so there are systems, which is a factor that usually means a bad level, a bad map. Those items are easy to get, it's not that big of a deal. I think one of them has a boot, which kinda doesn't matter. But yeah, this is one of the few maps I will not want to play. It's probably still not the worst map out of all Conquest, but it's still one of the worst ones. Also, you have like Ghost Hunter, which is an unattainable skill, and I hate that. I hate that every single time that I'm seeing an enemy with something that should not be possible for me to get, or that it should not even be on that class. I hate that so much. Like, Conquest Fnatic does that so many times. At least Awakening, when giving skills to enemies, they only give the skills that they could have on their class. Even if they should only be having that when they would be at a higher level, because that sometimes happens. But that's more acceptable than just giving you skills from a different class. Especially Launch, because Launch is a Conquest class exclusive skill. So I don't understand why would enemies that have a Birthright class, that are Birthright army, have a Conquest class. That doesn't make sense. Like, how would they be able to reclass into a Conquest class? And yeah, for that reason, this map goes on the worst maps. I don't know where exactly. I don't know how to tackle these maps, but I do know how to tackle these ones. Technically, I know how to tackle these too, but these are, yes, class. Like, this one you could probably do it with different units, even if the approach means use specific hidden items or a specific flyer. This is more tolerable than Awakening, those two Awakening maps. Well, I mean, no, that's not really true. This is not more tolerable, but it's more acceptable because you have many other choices to approach the map instead of just Juggernaut to do everything. And I guess there's still one more map. Let me see. So Ecus didn't have a way to order maps for chapters to be at chapter 23, and Free Houses has at most 22 chapters in terms of numbers, so there is no chapter 23 either there, which means that the only map that's left is Engage, chapter 23 from Engage. So this is Greece, this is Cephia, this is a lava map. They will attack, destroy some of those things and make fire tiles, I think, or maybe they're not fire, but they will damage you. If you stay there, they will tell you where to land, where they will land their attacks. That's not the biggest deal of this map. The issue is that, like with many other Engage maps, if you attack any of the bosses, they will move towards you, and you could just beat them because it's not a route map. It probably would suck if it was a route map, honestly, but it's not. So you can Astra Storm Zephyr and they will come at you turn 4, turn 5, I think. They will already be close enough to you so you could beat them with your units. It's not as bad as Warskipping, which it might be possible to Warskip it, honestly. It might be possible. But yet, this is another way to approach the map, which is in between Warskipping and play the map. The save is way faster. Because you still need to survive those 3-4 turns against those few enemies that will be around there. That doesn't mean this is an enjoyable map, because there are many enemies who have free stuff and they will, you know, froze you, which it's not great, since when it's free to have 0 move. And there is no restore stuff in this game, so you're not going to kill them. There is a skill that lets you not get frozen, but you're not going to waste the speed required for that to get that. I mean, I guess if you were to use the well, you might have the ability to do that, and then it would be an issue of bomb fragments, which I don't know if you have them or not. Then again, that is all. That still would be you will still need to give up on using 2 skill slots just so you don't get frozen from them. I don't think it's a great idea. Not at any point. Your units are in 2 groups, but that doesn't matter, because even though there are 2 paths, this one and this one, to reach them, I think this one is sorted right away, so they did not do a proper job on that. You pick none. You ignore this bar, you ignore this bar, and if you're ignoring enemies, if you ignore map of biggest, if you ignore a lot of the map is not good. It has not been designed well, because they do not make you go here. They do not make you go here. There is a goddess icon around here. There is nothing here. So you technically want to go here more, but like, you're not going all the way here for a goddess icon. And also there are like 1, 2, 3 more chapters after this one. You may still have endgame units here. The level suggested for this map, if I remember correctly, is 14. And when I was playing, all my units I think had that, and maybe more. And honestly, 14 is only 6 levels behind level 20 in the endgame level. That might be like 2 points, so 2 or 3 points in each stat. You could probably have units capable of beating the final map by now, and that means Warskipping is also a better choice. So yeah, this map is terrible. It's not that bad, because again, as explained, as a storm and let you leave something, even though it would be painful because of the frozen status, it still requires some involvement if you play it that way. And for that reason, it should not be here. It'll probably go on bad. Where should be on bad? Should it be here, there? Again, you're not Warskipping entirely. It might actually be more or less like FE12, honestly. Because on that one, you may want to waste a little turns. Maybe, if possible, warp someone where the boss sees to make him move and then seize next turn and tank him. Maybe you could warp a mate, and make him leave against all those enemies while making Garnet move, and then you beat Garnet next turn while also seizing. So, I don't know, should this one be better here or there? I probably will have more fun with this than with New Mystery. And New Mystery highest difficulty is Thematic Reverse, where there is bandits on everyone. It's again that is essentially a skill that you could not get, so have fun. Okay, that should be every single map. Did I change someone? I believe the last time I tried to record this I had more maps than me. That's like 1 hour ago, so I should probably check that. Also that will make Lenny out and Pod being equally in amount. That would not be a bad idea. It's a F9, but I mean, yes, people do remember the map for a reason. It's a F1 map, but there is no siege storms. Reinforcements will not really matter. You could play the map normally. You don't really suffer by playing the map normally. Actually, F1 map might be better than that one, because there are ballistas here. Yeah, there are ballistas on F1, not on F9 map, and yeah, you will play the map normally. You could play the map normally on F1 if you wanted to. War skip is what's making me consider not being better than F9, but if you don't want to war skip it, you will have a better experience probably than with F9. Is F9 better than the other ones? Yeah, if you don't want to war skip or Astra Storm the Engage map, you will suffer more and it will take more time. And the same will probably go for F12 if you don't want to war skip. In fact, if you don't want to war skip F12 may take less time, because I think that map's a little smaller. Is F12 map better than Engage then? It might actually be. There are not frozen enemies. There are siege storms though. I don't remember being siege storms on Engage. Yeah. And even though the items are really hard to get, I'm not sure. Maybe F12 is better, but because I haven't played, I guess not going to try it better. Is Shadow Dragon there good? Yeah, because we said that war skipping there is way more desirable because Falchion is kinda useless there. I mean, no, Falchion is useless, Marth is useless. Falchion would be great if you could use that on another unit, maybe. You could use that on a Sword Master that would have the speed not to get doubled by Melodies, it would be nice. But Marth, I don't think Marth can reclass. Can he? Can he reclass? I don't know, if he could I would probably have done it. Is Birthright map worse than the other ones? You cannot war skip it and you'll have to suffer all that. Yeah, I think that map is worse. Are those the Meow maps? They're great. In order that I honestly think they are, because as much as I hate use F7 maps, there's still some way to deal with them with any team. There are easy ways to deal. The most painful on that one might be just stay where you are until Ben gets rid of everything somehow, or almost everything, and then you rescue him and dance with me. It's not that terrible. Like, you also had to rescue him if you want to go for the test. Oh yeah, and have fun with the time limit if you want to go for a round. That's another issue. Yeah, vacuum boosts are okay. Do I want to make any other changes? I don't really think so. How's the timer going? It's right an hour, so we're going to end it here. I'm sorry if it took a little more than an hour. I hope you can forgive me, as we could not. I hope you can forgive me more than we could forgive those maps. Let's hope that this next year goes better, and we'll have fun playing the games we love with the maps we hate. Until another video. Bye!